Oh. Hey there. Rayne here. I just wanted to thank you personally for joining us for Wine and Wardrobe with Rayne. I put together a compilation of a few of my favorite moments. Please enjoy. Make sure to follow us all on Instagram. Bye. This is a casual limited series called Wine and Wardrobe with me, Rayne. Each episode will be filled with fun stories and super simple stylish advice that's gonna help us feel more connected. I've been eating like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like old school because it's so easy and I don't have to really shop for it and it lasts all week. Is there anything that you recommend that we can buy to not stand in line all the time?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of the Instapot, but I'll try to focus on stuff that anybody can make because I know not everyone has the Instapot.
Yeah.
So, say for like a couple days in a row, you buy like a low sodium broth or like a roasted red pepper tomato soup, and then you've got either your sausage or your plant-based substitute. Chop that up, mix that in with some frozen vegetables in the soup. And if you have spinach, fresh spinach, that's like either you use it all at once or it all like wilts. So mix that in too, and then it's really filling and it'll last you a couple of days. Because I think in a pack of soup you can have like 4 servings, and then you really stretch it out if you add like the meat or the seitan or whatever protein, and then the vegetables, and then you can even put beans in too if you have canned beans.
So can you tell everybody what your podcast is about?
Yeah, so the podcast is sexual empowerment for everyone. So I interview so many different people about their own sexual empowerment journeys. I've interviewed sex workers and therapists and quote unquote everyday people about what they learned and didn't learn about sex and sexuality growing up. The stories are kind of amazing. Just a huge range of different topics. I love talking to artists and authors, and the gateway into the show is definitely sex and pleasure, but I personally feel that sexual empowerment has to do with pretty much everything in our lives. When we embrace our sexuality, everything is richer. So we go all over the place.
So can we get into the dating? What's been happening in the world? How are people dating now? What's going on with that?
It's nuts. So again, it's so funny because, when this quarantine started, there were so many questions about what's happening. Where do you do this? Like dating, how do you do that? Okay, let's go on all the apps because everybody was on the apps. And by the way, people are still on the apps. So if anyone is watching and you're single, there's everyone's still on the apps because bars aren't open yet. And I think in certain states, some bars are maybe, but dating apps are still the primary way to meet people while we're still in this kind of like limbo period of sort of quarantine and sort of not. So we're on a dating app, we're like swipe, because they all are swipeable apps at this point, right? Choose your favorite swipeable app. And you're like, ooh, look at this person. Okay, you're matched. Say they like you too. Yay, it's a match. Okay, so then you're messaging each other. So it's really important. Just a couple quick tips. It's really, really important that you message in a timely manner and don't just talk about coronavirus. Keep it upbeat, but also it's really important that you listen to the person. So if somebody's having a hard day or something, it's really important to not be like, no, I don't want to talk about that. So listen to the person, but do what you can, both parties, to keep it upbeat. Because the thing is, like you said, to your point, Rayne, when you're meeting on dating apps, it should be an escape. It should be an escape from all the corona and all the things out there. You want to be happy when you walk away. And you have to remember that at some point, we won't be in quarantine anymore, and you're going to want to hang out in person with this person. So, just put your best foot forward and make them want to hang out with you once this quarantine is lifted.
You're also a image consultant and certified style coach like me, which is kind of how we met because we're all in the same group. How was your experience with the Style Coaching Institute?
Guys, ladies, I love the Institute. It is amazing. It is awesome. It's a place. For the rest of my life, I'm going to talk about Style Coaching Institute to anybody and to everybody who wants to listen. It's been an amazing journey for me, being a style coach and also a member of the International Association of Style Coaches. So, like you said, that was where we met. And because of the constant activities and refresher courses and everything, all of us, sometimes it feels like we're in the same city, and like we're seeing each other because of the things that have been going on and how we relate with each other. So my experience has been amazing. Kate is brilliant. Tracy is something else. They're always there to respond to you 24 hours. Once you send them an email, before you blink your eye, you've already gotten the response. So it's been, I don't know how to explain it, but it's been very wonderful.
What is the hardest part about letting a chapter go in your life, and how would you recommend to move forward? Did you write it down? Was it a feeling that you sat with, like you said, for 2 years? What gave you the courage? What was your steps to do that?
Well, in talking about the gym, there's so many things, but first we have to actually really be able to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. So allow yourself to grieve it. So I even had to grieve the loss of my gym. I had to grieve the loss.
That was a baby you raised.
Yeah, completely. So I even had to grieve not being able to see all my peeps every day. I even had to go through emotions of people were angry with me for even closing the gym and moving on. They were happy, yet they were upset, and I get that. So it's really allowing yourself to feel it and not run away from not feeling it, because you have to heal that. And it is really being in awe, and also being in accomplishment of what you did, and standing in the achievement of what you did, and really being with it, all of the good things. And so I would write down, like, this is what I achieved in these past 10 years at my gym. This is what I learned. These are the lessons. So I would write that down, and that really helped me to be there with it. And I did a full-on gratitude ceremony for my gym when I left. I just thanked my gym. I thanked all the walls. I thanked all my equipment, every person who had gone through those doors.
Yeah.
All those years, every single person, because they were a part of my life. And so it was really being with all of that. And that took me some time. I cried, I laughed, and some memories maybe weren't as great as others. And then I got angry, but then I cried again because it taught me such a valuable lesson. And so it's really being with everything and allowing it to close before you move on. Because I think sometimes we don't really want to be with the feelings because we feel uncomfortable, or I don't want to be with that emotion. But if we don't, then we take that into the new.
Define your niche would be number one. And then once your niche is defined visually, what can somebody do to make it more like a cute outfit? I mean, your Instagram feed, your website, all your social marketing, because back in the day, we didn't have all this. So it was just like, you get your one cute picture and then that's it. But now it's, when you're out and about in your outfits and you're taking photos and you're posting your website, it is so much information.
Yeah, totally. And you want to be consistent.
Yeah. So what can we do to make our brand look like a cute outfit?
Yeah. Well, I think, again, if you're just starting out and, I think it's wise to, like I said, put your energy into generating the revenue of the client and just pick something and get going and, know that you're going to invest in branding and whatever that looks like for you further down the road. So you can do that through getting templates, but I would pick something and make it as elegant, chic, and sophisticated as you possibly can so that people take you seriously. Because if you're using, mismatched colors that don't have like a harmony with them, and you have like, a red font over a pink background, it's like, what? And put some effort into your Instagram feed. I was actually just writing a training today about, how to use Instagram to build your list and, book out your calendar with clients. And, people go to your Instagram feed and they look, it's like your calling card, right? I mean, I don't think most people go to your Instagram and then I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, I checked out your Instagram and now like, I want to have a conversation with you, versus before people used to go to your website. So putting some care and thought and intention into your Instagram, and the colors that you use on your Instagram should be the colors that you use in your PDF, should be the colors that you use on your business card, should be the colors that you use on your website. So you've got to be consistent across the board there, because otherwise someone's going to interact with you and be like, wait, I'm confused. Like, her website has this and her Instagram looks like that. Like, is this the same business? And whether they're conscious of it or not, subconsciously they're like, something's not right here. I don't trust it.
When I first started personal styling, which was still 10 years ago, I can't even believe it. Personal styling, when you do it in everyday life, is different than would work for a headshot. When we look at some of your photos, especially your commercial ones, you may have this really bright green sweater with an orange striped top that in person you'd be like, but photo, it looks so amazing and so commercial-esque, and it brings out, everything comes to life. And like you said on your website, the best animated version of ourself or yourself, and you capture that. And I think that that's like one of the keys that a lot of people just like don't resonate. It's not just, you know, showing up in a button-up shirt. It's so much more than that.
Yeah. So the difference, you know, with wardrobe, I always tell my clients, with actors anyway, I tell them it's not about what looks good on you. It's about what the character would wear. Yeah. So if you were to dress this character for an audition, how would you dress that character? Basically, they come to you when they don't want to do the work. But that's the work people should be doing, right? And then a lot of my dating clients that I send to you are basically what I ask that my social media dating clients do, because I also do portraits for social media dating, and those are entrepreneurs, but I have different types of sessions. I have like a business session for LinkedIn and like someone's website, professional website, versus social media dating. And for my dating clients, I always tell them that you should think of wardrobe, because I shoot unlimited wardrobes. Like they can change as many times as they want to. For the dating ones, because my dating shots are not in the studio, they're environmental, and they're meant to look like they were candid shots taken on different days and different times and different places, even though they're not. Right. But that's my little secret trick. So the dating thing is, what would you wear to different events? You know, I tell people to bring me a variety of like 8 to 10 clothes, and I hate it when they show up with 5 t-shirts that are all the same, but in different colors. That's just redundant. That makes no sense. So when I send them to you, I'm like, it's usually, well, they're like, I don't know. I only like have 4 things. I'm like, okay, well, Rayne will help you. And the goal is to like think of what you might wear to an evening event, let's say like a walk at the beach or shopping at the promenade on a Saturday during normal times, of course. So that's what I tell my dating clients and my social media clients, is to think of like events to put together a wardrobe.
Once you declutter your closet, whether it's me, a stylist, or yourself, and you still look in there and you're not feeling like super excited or things aren't working for you, hire an organizer that is, and make sure they're not just like using the term organizer like I did for 7 years before Monica. Make sure they are like a real organizer, like Simply Space. And that's also where you can get Monica's book, which that is a great segue. Tell me about your book that I'm so excited for you.
My book is called Simply Spaced, Clear the Clutter and Style Your Life. It came out in October of last year. And it's really the answer to teaching people to think like professional organizers. So the one thing I wrote this book because I wanted to share all the things that people ask me all the time. How do I do it? Where do I start? What's the method that you use? What tips do you have? I literally put all of it in the book because people ask me all the time. I explain what my method is, to simplify, streamline, and style. And then I tell you exactly how to do each step. So first you're going to declutter. Well, how do you declutter? Well, you set up your bins. I have a toolkit in there for you. Like I spell it all out for you because I think it's important for people to learn. People ask me all the time, like, oh, are you a natural born organizer? And I'm like, actually, no, I'm actually a natural born creative. I was a designer for many, many years, but I learned how to think like an organizer. I know the methods and the tricks. And so I can walk into a totally cluttered space and not feel overwhelmed because I have a process, I have a method. And that's what most people lack. And that's why they get so overwhelmed. So it's all in the book. I'd love to share it with your audience. So thank you for bringing that up.
Tell me how you went from, because I know you still work for a nonprofit, to also getting involved with this wine company. Do you love wine?
Mm-hmm.
Were you, tell me a little bit of a backstory, because I know you're a mom too.
Yes.
So working
I am a mom.
Doing anything extra is a lot of work. So we have to love it.
Right. Yes, girl. I love my wine, my survival wine right now. I love the story. So Scout & Cellar was founded by a woman named Sarah Shadinix. I also love that I'm supporting another female entrepreneur. And she was a litigation lawyer who also loved wine and decided to pursue her master's sommelier. And she discovered that every time she had a glass of wine, she was getting a headache. She kept going to the doctor and they would run tests and none of them came back conclusive, but they would prescribe medication. She's like, there has to be a better way. And one evening, her and her husband went to a friend's house and they happened to serve a bottle of French wine. And to her surprise and relief, she didn't get a headache and was like, okay, there is a way to have wine without getting a headache. She did a ton of research, created relationships with farmers all across the globe, and created what we now call our clean crafted standard, which is the no sugars and no added preservatives or synthetic use of additives. I really enjoy wine and I really love the story. Just like with my fashion pieces, I love the story behind it. You know, when I think of wine, I think of hanging out with friends, a good meal, relaxation. I'll be drinking wine anyway, and I love the story. I'll be sharing the story anyway. Why don't I become a wine consultant? And it has just been so easy and fun, a great reason to get together with my friends across the globe, but mostly across the US on Zoom. We'll do a virtual tasting or a small group of people outside in the backyard, social distance. We wear masks. I don't touch a glass, but we're catching up. We're surviving, we're drinking clean, great wine. And to me, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, wow, I get to actually hang out with my girlfriends and drink some great wine.
So Rayne, from your experience working with your clients over the years, do you tend to notice any sort of added benefits that style coaching offers your clients, like above and over the usual wardrobe makeover, you know, in terms of the confidence side of it? Do you notice that you're able to help people more with that side of things now than you were before, or how has it changed?
Sure, absolutely. I love to share this, again, a little bit of embarrassing story. So when I first started styling, there was this one woman who, she was about 25 and she had a classic style personality. So she liked solid colors and she wore all black, right? And I was like, hey, here, and I did a color analysis on her. And this is when, you know, old school, I was still using the drapes and I only used the 4 seasons. Now we know we always go by 12. I was only using 4 seasons, and she was a summer color palette. So she looked great in a lot of pastels. So I took her from wearing all black to a shopping session to literally, it was like all pastels and a few black pants and that. And it was a lot of prints and patterns. And then she bought the stuff and I was like, wow, you look so great, this and that. I took photos and she did look great. She brought it home, and then the stylist said, when I book appointments, I'll always call the stylist there because I love to have them help, and I book a private room. So she called me. She's like, hey, I just wanted you to know your client returned everything that she bought with you. And I was like, what?
Oh no.
And I felt so bad. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, I don't want to invade your personal privacy, but what was it about the session? You know, what happened? And she's like, I just can't see myself in those colors and this and that. So after taking the Style Coaching Institute, it was because I wasn't listening to her. I took her from 0 to 100 in one session. And now that I know you can't do that, sometimes it's a process. So a lot of the times I'm listening to say, where are they? What classic personality? I took her from a classic personality to a creative. So I was so excited. I wanted to have her. She's like, I want to step out of my comfort zone. So you can't really take someone from 0 to 100. Now I say, okay, we're still going to dress. So I retook her shopping.
Fantastic.
And she's been with me ever since. And
has she?
Shop with me and her mom 4 or 5 times since then. And we got her all solid colors. I took her from some blacks to really deep navies and deep charcoals.
So great idea.
Coordinate that. And a lot of if it was a print or pattern, it was very small in the earring or scarf. And she loves it now. So I'm sorry. I get so excited about it. But anyways, that was how style coaching, learning what I did, you guys, that has helped me be a better listener. How are they learning? Do they learn by touch? Do they learn by auditory? Do they learn by visual? And I'm a lot better listener than I was 10 years ago before taking your class. Bye-bye. You say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ooh, that's a wrap.